Namo Narayana, welcome back. Today we are reading the Mantrika Upanishad, which is Upanishad number 59 out of 108. So we're really traveling through this, and I hope you're enjoying this. There's some fascinating things here, and to finally read these books, which so many people cite, but I really don't think they've read them, or they've read like a handful, to really dig into them. It is quite interesting. Of course, I'm just reading. There's so much here that I am not discussing, and that may be confusing or unknown or whatever, and I'm just leaving it as I'm going on to the next Upanishad. You could spend a lifetime just studying these, but my thought is so many people aren't even reading them, so let's just read them first, and then you can go back and study them later. Here we go with the Mantrika Upanishad. The eight-footed immaculate swan, bound with three cords, subtle and imperishable, to whom three ways lead, I see not, though I see it everywhere. At that time all living beings are confounded in the darkness of nescience. When, however, the pileless darkness is shattered by the sun of saving knowledge, the sages established in Sattva behold the Absolute beyond guna, in the sphere of gunas. Contemplated by sages like Kumara, the Absolute is not otherwise capable of being perceived at all. The agent of superimposition, the unborn Maya, the nescient eightfold mother of modifications, thus it is extended and again prodded. The world under such power and guidance gives rise to the values of man. The Lord's mighty Maya, having both a beginning and end, the creatrix, brings beings into existence. White, black, and red, she fulfills all desires. The ignorant experiences this non-objective Maya, whose real nature is unknown even to sages like Kumara. The Lord alone, freely following her, enjoys Maya as her Lord and companion. He enjoys her through both contemplation and action. He, the omnipresent one, sustains her, who is common to one and all, the yielder of desired objects, and is enjoyed by the sacrificers. The magnanimous sages behold in the sphere of Maya the birds eating the fruits of karmas. The priests who have completed their Vedic training have declared the other to be detached. The masters of the Rig Veda, well versed in the Shastras, repeat what the Yajurvedans have declared. The adepts in Samaveda, singing Bratsama and Rantantara, also reaffirm this truth. Vedic sages like Bhrigu and the Bhargavas, those followers of the Artha Veda, practicing the Veda, the mantras, and the secret doctrines in the sequence on words, all set forth the same doctrine. The faithful co-disciple, firm and accomplished, the Red Bull, the sacrificial remainder, as all these in regard to its immensity, and as time, life, the divine wrath, the destroyer, the great Lord, the becoming Rudra, the protector of jivas, the rewarder of the virtuous, the Lord of living beings, the Virat, the sustainer in the waters of life, is the all-pervader, lauded by beings magnified in the mantras and well known to the Artha Veda. Some aver him, the great Lord, as the 26th principle, others as the 27th. The masters of the Artha Veda and the Atharva Upanishads know the spirits beyond qualities as set forth in the Shankala. The manifest and the unmanifest have been counted together as 24. Some declare him non-dual, as dual, as threefold, and similarly as fivefold. Those who see with the eye of wisdom, the twice-born, perceive him as comprising everything from Brahma to Styx, as one only, pure, through and through, all-pervading. That in which this might manifold, moving, unmoving, is woven in that very thing, it also merges as the rivers do in the sea. In that in which the objects are dissolved, and having been dissolved become unmanifest, once more they attain manifestation. They are again born like bubbles. They come into being by virtue of causes supervised by individual cells that know the field. Such is the blessed Lord, so others repeatedly declare. Those Brahmanas who just know Brahma, here only they are dissolved. Having been dissolved, they exist in the Avyakta. This is the secret doctrine. Thus ends the Mantrika Upanishad. I'm reading a book right now, a really short book on the Dead Sea Scrolls, which I found, and it's a series of lectures by 4 distinguished scholars And it's really interesting because it talks about finding the Dead Sea Scrolls and using them to put together the culture that was containing the Essenes, as we think they are, and finding out what their culture was like and how they held these scrolls. It was interesting because they said there's this one scroll that they found duplicates of, but yet that book is not in the Old Testament. While they found duplicates of lots of Old Testament stuff, this particular scroll, which they have so many copies of, which obviously to them has importance, they wonder, well, why would you have copies of so much of something, but yet it's not considered part of the Old Testament? So it's an interesting little mystery. So, when I read something like this Upanishad or any of them, I think about that. It's one thing for us to have a book with all these Upanishads, all 108 put together for us, translated multiple times by multiple people, yada, yada, yada. Editors, publishers, whatever. But what was it like in the beginning for someone to be reading this, or someone to be writing it, or to pass it to someone else? Would someone have been sitting in a forest in India, being given this, or having it recited to them? And they don't know that there's 108. Maybe in their world there's just Upanishads. They don't know there's 108 codified Upanishads. Maybe for them there's 50. Or maybe they don't separate them out as special like we do today. They're just part of this Vedic text that they study. And maybe they've never read the 108. We assume these sages were great scholars, but there's no reason to think that every sage in India read all 108 Upanishads. So today, when we don't read 108, we're actually just following tradition. But the difference is they knew more about the Rig Veda and the other Vedas than we do. We don't know anything. Very few people really are reading all those books. So I just think about it. What was life like for these sages sharing this? Did someone go, oh, I have this Upanishad and whatever? Or were there people going, oh, well, that's not a real Upanishad. I don't approve of that one. It's not going to make the cut. What was it like for them? I find it impossible to imagine. Literally impossible. It's very interesting because they approach the Upanishads far different than we did, or we do, I should say, or actually as we did a century ago. Who knows how they'll approach them in the future. As long as somebody approaches them, that's the key. As long as they stay alive. So, it's a good place to stop this video. So, yeah, I'm just going to say thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting my channel and whatever station or channel you're watching it on, whether YouTube or BitChute or Rumble or Anchor Podcasts or Spotify. Thank you so much for being a part of this journey, and I'll see you in the next video.